Well. Just when you thought that Sam Bankman Fried didn't have any money, or at least what was being reported in the past, turns out that he has assets that is quite sizable. To be fair, this article does highlight that a good amount of this is pertaining back to the Robinhood shares, which we had previously reported on this channel. But it does highlight some new things as well. And we're going to be diving more into that. I'll be sharing my personal thoughts and opinions at the end. This is an article from Watcher Guru. I'll have a link to this article down in the description below. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Everything I'm sharing is my own opinion. It's my own research. I highly encourage you to go do your own research. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive on into the news. U.S. government seizes nearly $700 million in assets belonging to Sam Bankman Fried. CNBC reported that U.S. federal prosecutors have seized nearly $700 million in assets belonging to FTX co-founder Sam Bankman Fried. The information arrives from court documents filed on Monday, showing a seizure of over $697 million in cash and other assets. The report notes that the assets were primarily the Robinhood shares that were previously owned by Bankman Fried. Those assets, whose ownership has been disputed for much of the past month, are now in the custody of the U.S. government. U.S. prosecutors seize $697 million in Sam Bankman Fried assets. Of the seized assets, CNBC reports that 3 accounts were held at Silvergate Bank under the name of FTX Digital Markets. Subsequently, the report states that it held just over $6 million and was seized on or about January 11th. Additionally, the report identifies nearly $50 million being held by Moonstone Bank. The United States financial institution maintains ties with FTX management, and the contents of the account are assumed to have been seized by United States prosecutors within the same time frame. FTX Digital Markets, the name of accounts held at Silvergate Bank, is also noted in the report as a Bahamian subsidiary of the platform. Conversely, at the time of publication, there is no update as to what that means for the ongoing conflict between FTX's American arm and Bahamian authorities. The entities have been embroiled in a highly publicized dispute for much of the platform's bankruptcy proceedings. The situation is evolving, and the specifics of the remaining seized assets are yet to be revealed. Thus far, only the accounts and the Robinhood shares have been shown from the court filings identifying the seizure made today. Well, so as it's highlighting here, there's still a lot of these assets that are tying back over to his work with FTX, and that is something that's being factored in. What's also really important to note with this, guys, is the fact that this is such a substantial amount of money that we're talking about here. Consider how much of this could go back to paying off the investors that were affected from this whole debacle. FTX themselves, the new CEO, has been trying to do the best that he can given the circumstances. I mean, imagine if you were in his position, right? You get thrown into this and they weren't having proper record keepings. There were all these shenanigans going on in the back end with Alameda Research, and then all the rippling effects of all the other companies that were affected with this, such as Genesis and BlockFi, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And it's a huge mess. And so what's so interesting is that the new CEO has been able to locate substantial sums of money. We're talking about billions of dollars worth of assets. And with this information here, I feel that this could just be added on top of that pile. Do I think that every single dime and penny should be pulled away from Sam Bankman Fried to be able to pay back these investors for what happened? So look, here's the thing, right? You got to make sure that there's accountability. You got to make sure that the investors get their money back. There was potential going into the bankruptcy for FTX, according to reports, that there was the possibility of receiving additional outside support of lending that money could have been used to help pay that off. Although, given the circumstances, if Sam Bankman Fried had stayed in that position, I would be really questioning how much of those funds that are being provided over would actually then be used to help pay them back. Or if it's just like, hey, yeah, give me some more money. Okay, I'm going to do these other things in the back end without people knowing what I'm doing. I'm just pocketing like 70% of it and 30% to just kick the can down the road a little bit. We don't know if something like that could have happened. And I'm just throwing out like a random conspiracy theory because that situation did not happen. It's not going to happen. So it's just me being silly right now. All of this money, though, this is real. Everything that's pointed out here, these assets are legitimate and they could potentially go towards that big pot. So what do you guys think? Last thing I want to touch on this is with those individuals that helped bail out Sam Bankman Fried, that $250 million bail, I wonder if they want to be paid back. I would assume they probably do. So where would the money come to pay them back for that bail? Might come from this. Because according to Sam before, he said that he didn't have much in his bank account. So if he didn't have much in his bank account, but he's got all these assets and these other things, which, by the way, I do believe he has multiple properties worth substantial amount of money for those as well. Those could also be sold. Those funds pulled in from that could also be used to help pay off many of the debts that are going on. There's a lot of debt. Tell us what you guys think about all this down in the comments below. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please go do your own research. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the thumbs up like button. And also, thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. A double shout out thank you to WeLoveSafeMoon.com, Victor Vegas, Safe and Oz for being higher level patrons. And thank you to my YouTube members for your support. God bless. We will see you in the next episode.